Park for this tasty Tyneside occasion is 24,141. The capacity limited because a new £4 million grandstand is being built on the near side of this famous ground. It's a match that's attracted enormous attention far beyond the northeast. The managers of England and Scotland are both part of that crowd, and the fans have just been checking their programmes for the team news. We can do that for those of you at home right away. Newcastle are unchanged, with goalkeeper Gary Kelly continuing to deputise for the injured Martin Thomas, and their talented midfield player Paul Gascoigne is also out injured. If you're wondering why Mirandinha is not wearing the celebrated Newcastle number 9 shirt, the reason is that Brazilian strikers tend to prefer the number 10 in respect for the incomparable Pelé. Well, I know one man who won't mind that comparison is Liverpool's John Barnes, because he's in their number 10 shirt with the former Geordie hero Peter Beardsley at number 7. That jersey previously reserved for manager Kenny Dalglish, and at one time at both these clubs, of course, for Kevin Keegan. Liverpool, in fact, field the formation that finished Tuesday's match against Charlton, which means Steve Nicol is in midfield and Mark Lawrenson plays at left back, despite wearing the number 9. Now, talking of number 9s, when Liverpool came here 16 years ago, they lost 3-2, and a certain Malcolm MacDonald scored a hat-trick on his home debut for Newcastle. Can Mirandinha make that sort of impact today, Malcolm?
I'm sure he can. The guy is one of the most exciting centre-forwards that I have ever seen. He can score hat-tricks against anybody, Liverpool included. He can score hat-tricks anywhere in the world. He really is the quickest thing that I've seen, and he has got tricks and skills about him that are going to revolutionise things in the Football League during his stay here. The comparisons are going to come thick and fast this afternoon between Mirandinha and Peter Beardsley, his predecessor. And around the terraces, they're going to be saying, well, have we gained or have we lost? My opinion is that by the end of 90 minutes today, they will say, we haven't lost a lot, we have gained everything. Because they are fairly dissimilar players, but the one thing that Mirandinha has got over Peter Beardsley is that he is a goal scorer. Beardsley never scored enough goals for the Newcastle fans. Although his talents are exceptional, Mirandinha has exceptional talents also in quite a different way, but he has this fantastic ability to make goals out of nothing and will shoot on sight, and he'll have more shots this afternoon than both sides put together.
Well, there are some Brazilian shirts in there. Some of the Newcastle supporters have already been to buy their new favours, and what interest this man's arrival has brought to Tyneside. I saw him at Old Trafford last week score 2, and I wonder if John Barnes, who scored that amazing goal against Brazil playing for England, just might rise to this occasion because of the way the game has been built up. Well, that young supporter will know that despite the Brazilian connection, Newcastle have lost both their home games so far. They badly require results in front of their own people today, especially when you bear in mind that Liverpool have made an ominous start to their First Division programme, and Beardsley just shaking hands with Mirandinha there in the centre circle. Liverpool have won 4 and drawn 1 of their 5 league matches so far. But you really have to be here to appreciate what football means in the northeast. They've been looking forward to this match for weeks, and Liverpool, in the red shirts of course, will kick off against a Newcastle side who are modelling a smart new kit this season, but still obviously the distinguished black and white stripes. Alan Hansen getting it forward, then David McCreary. Number 7 on the far side is Stevenson. Hansen again. Number 3 for Newcastle there is John Anderson. That was Gary Gillespie beating Mirandini in the air. Kenny Wharton, number 8. Now, number 2, Neil MacDonald on the far side. Mirandini on the penalty spot. He might... Too high for him. He scored with his head last week at Old Trafford. Here's Barry Venison. Steve Nicholls gone forward well. Beardsley's in the middle, so is Aldridge. A little push and shove. John Aldridge getting involved. The Newcastle player concerned was, I think, Peter Jackson. And there were gestures exchanged there between Aldridge and Jackson. The save was made by young Gary Kelly down at the near post. Nicol, Mirandini, and Gillespie's all over him. Free kick. He's been on a 7,000-mile round trip this week, Mirandini, all the way back to Brazil to collect his family, who are watching from the stands. His girlfriend and Mirandini's 2 young boys among this audience this afternoon. And in the meantime, he's on his feet again. Anderson. Here's Glenn Roeder, the Newcastle captain. MacDonald. Stevenson. Mirandini this time fouled. Steve McMahon shakes the head. The thing about the appearance of a man like Mirandini is it tends to lift all the other players as well, especially those who are going to be marking him. That was Lawrenson. His first full league game for some 6 months. Here's McCreary. Peter Jackson. McCreary. Ronnie Whelan, more central this season in the Liverpool midfield. Venison. Barry Venison back in home territory, he was born at Consett, not far from here. Aldridge. Roeder came in well. Hodges on Nicol. Kenny Wharton. Touch. Well, why not? Seems to be that sort of occasion. Nicol. Aldridge. Wharton. Hansen read it easily. Barnes to his left. Still Hansen. McCreary's challenge. Barnes. Barnes and MacDonald. Corners of Liverpool. John Barnes has been in excellent form early in his Liverpool career. He's been whipping crosses in very dangerously. And he's played that short to Lawrenson. Here's McMahon. Offside. 2 linesmen this afternoon supporting Keith Hackett, the referee, are Ian Crookshanks and Barry Hawthorne. Five minutes gone at St James's Park. Anderson for Newcastle. That was Goddard, number 9. Roeder. Now McMahon. Lawrenson. The linesman said at first that it was still in, so that's going to be a Liverpool ball, but already Keith Hackett had signalled. This is Barnes. McMahon. For those of you that know the ground well, Newcastle defending the Gallagate end and attacking the Leazes end, where there is temporary seating while this ground reconstruction goes on. Mirandinha. And still, Barnes got back to challenge. John Barnes, perhaps not at his best, back his own third of the field, but Liverpool got away with that. Goes up every time Newcastle looked like forming an attack. It was a bad ball by Neil McDonald. This is McMahon. Goddard got back well. Good challenge by McMahon again. Roda, number 11, Hodges. Kenny Wharton. Whelan, Mirandinha, Barnes. Funny how they're side by side in this opening period. Mirandinha again. That's a foul, is it, by Whelan? Free kick to Newcastle. Mirandinha takes it, tries to find Stevenson. Here's the Brazilian again. And now Beardsley. Barnes. Steve Nicol, who started the season so well for Liverpool, number 4. Oh, that's the shuffle, the Glenn Roda trademark there. QPR fans will remember that, it's offside against Aldridge. Roda has that ability to fox an opponent by putting his foot over the ball while he's running with it. It's a little trick that he's perfected down the years. Here's Roda now. And again, Nicol to his right. Still Nicol. Oh, that nearly ran for Aldridge. And there's a foul on the edge of the area. And as the Newcastle player Stevenson goes down, let's hear the first impressions of Malcolm McDonald.
I think, John, that Newcastle might be falling into their own trap. They're pushing up and looking to play offside, and Liverpool are the greatest exponents of getting behind fullbacks, and they've already got there once in their first attack where Kelly made that very good save. And if Newcastle aren't very careful, I think they might just find themselves in a little bit of trouble.
There goes Steve Nicol. Aldridge coming towards the near post here, so is Beardsley. Hammered away by Peter Jackson. So a corner to Newcastle, to Liverpool. Here's Nicol. Barnes. Gillespie's in the middle, so is Beardsley here. Roda. Goddard. Forward by Lawrenson. In case you've come into the last few minutes, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 0 after 10 minutes of this first match of the day live of the season. And as yet, no real pattern to the game. But certainly a very exciting occasion. Roda. McCreary. Venison. They're trying to get Aldridge through the centre, Liverpool, but Peter Jackson was watchful there. Hansen, Mirandinho handled that. Not quite the hand of God, but certainly the hand of a Brazilian on this occasion. And Liverpool able to bring the ball away with Venison to Beardsley. Nicol. And there goes Venison again. Aldridge waiting in the centre. Whelan in support here. That's meant for Aldridge. May come for Barnes. Stevenson was back. McMahon. Just wonder whether Steve McMahon's performance might arouse a little bit of interest in the mind of Bobby Robson, who is in the stand today. That was Nicol beating Hodges, then Wharton. McCreary. McDonald. Lawrenson to McMahon. Now Wharton. McCreary across to John Anderson. Wharton is forward. Referee said play on. Goddard. Stevenson now in a good position. And blocked. Just for a moment, Newcastle seemed to have found space on their right flank. Jackson. Barnes. This is Barry Venison. Low into Whelan. Now it's Nicol. Aldridge is hovering on the far side. Aldridge has that instinct for where to be. Not unlike Ian Rush. This is Barnes. I only mention that because Aldridge so far has scored in every game which he has started in the Liverpool League side. 7 in all, 5 of them this season. And his predatory instinct is something Newcastle have got to be aware of. Mirandinho beaten by Venison. Fans on the far side had their own views on that, but play goes on. Here's Gillespie. Hodges there, number 11, who came from Wimbledon to Newcastle in the summer. Mirandinho to Anderson. That wasn't the pass that John Anderson intended. Jackson. McMahon. Lawrenson into Beardsley. Here's Barnes. McMahon. Nicol. And Kenny Wharton got back to concede the corner. Just over 15 minutes gone. Liverpool pushing forward. Barnes and Nicol have come across to this side. Beardsley making his way towards the near post, Aldridge on the far post, and Gary Gillespie by the penalty spot is the Liverpool lineup. And that was none too easy for Gary Kelly. Young goalkeeper there. He's comes from quite a distinguished goalkeeping family. His brother Alan plays for Preston, and in fact is interesting Spurs at the moment, I gather. And their father, Alan Kelly Sr., was a long-serving Preston goalkeeper, now working in the United States. McCreary. Stevenson to McDonald. Here's Peter Jackson. And Lawrenson blocking the path of Mirandinia. McDonald. Mirandinia's touch was good. Stevenson. Players waiting in the centre. Here's Mirandinia. Came off Hansen. Wharton blocked it. Goddard's in there. Hodges. Goddard. Goal kick, but one aspect of Mirandinia there, Malcolm. He gets his shots in very quickly.
He's very quick on his feet. He's a real two-touch player whenever he's around goal. One touch gets it, and then the next touch is coming like lightning, and defenders have got to be so very, very quick even to get a block in. But very uncharacteristically there, Liverpool were getting in a little bit of sixes and sevens. The rest of the pattern of their play has really settled down. They're getting their triangles formed, they're passing it about, and they're finding width on both flanks very, very nicely indeed. Newcastle United yet haven't settled, and they're going to have to do pretty quickly if they're not going to let Liverpool run away with this game.
Here's Goddard, and Mirandinia couldn't reach that. This is Venison. McCreary's header. This is Nicol. Bit of space opening up here. Aldridge in there. Whelan. Aldridge to Barnes. Now Barry Venison. Hodges. Wharton to McCreary. Stevenson. McMahon for Liverpool. Well, as yet we haven't seen much in the way of goalmouth incident, and certainly no clear scoring opportunities. Barnes. Ball by Barnes. That might have been all right for Wyn Davis, that sort of ball, but not for Mirandinia, really. Here's Barnes. Number 7, Beardsley. And there goes Barnes again. Danger here. Aldridge far post. John Anderson and Steve Nicol. What a simple goal for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol puts it away with some aplomb. It's his 4th of the season, in fact, and Newcastle got themselves in a right mess. The sort of start that Liverpool would have been looking for, and Peter Beardsley, against his old club, makes the running here. He finds another of the new players, Barnes. That was really meant for Aldridge. John Anderson's was the mistake. Steve Nicol's was the side foot shot. And the lead belongs to Liverpool. Doesn't seem to matter whether Nicol's playing fullback or midfield. He has a real flair for goals just at the moment. Here's Goddard. Stevenson now. Newcastle in view of their recent home results, will require a very quick reply. Malcolm.
What I did notice on that, John, was that the fullback has got sucked in to the near post, and two players are still behind him. Here comes Nicol now, and if you look, there's still another Liverpool player behind. Barnes is doing so well on the left-hand side, aided there by Beardsley, and they're pulling the Newcastle defence over to one side so that they can switch to the other. And Newcastle really have got to work in organising their back four a lot more.
So there we are, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1. And Liverpool, who've had away wins already at Arsenal and Coventry and a draw at West Ham, are in front here. That's a foul by Hansen on Goddard. Peter Jackson has gone forward onto the edge of the penalty area for Newcastle, arm raised. Roeder chips the ball in, and it was Jackson who was doing the leaning on Gary Gillespie. That was Aldridge. Now here's Stevenson. Still only 19, the outside right, Paul Stevenson. He's found Mirandinha, who's got it back from Goddard. And Mirandinha going at them here. And Kenny Wharton and Glyn Hodges were waiting in the centre, but Mirandinha, true to form, was testing Grobbelaar a bit. Aldridge, just over halfway through the first half. Newcastle on the attack, trailing by 1-0. Anderson with Benison. And Benison's mistake really gives Newcastle a corner. And that will raise the sound level a little bit here. Stevenson will come across to take it. And they'll send Roeder and Jackson forward. Roeder normally takes the near post position. Grobbelaar made all that seem irrelevant. And a nice little throw by the goalkeeper has found Beardsley, who's getting a mixed reception. Good pass, Steve Nicol. Beardsley. Benison. Nicol again, little touch, but Anderson should reach that ahead of Beardsley. Gillespie with Goddard. Well, as Malcolm MacDonald said quite rightly, Liverpool were the first team to really establish a pattern in this match, and it's brought them the first goal, and at the moment they look fairly comfortable on it, but Newcastle, with this crowd behind them, will be searching for inspiration. Here's Lawrenson. Barnes. Away from Stevenson, John Barnes. And from McDonald, but not from McCreary. A wholehearted competitor who's had a bit of a knee problem this week, David McCreary. And Whelan back to Lawrenson. Whelan again. Barnes. And Anderson concedes the corner. And another dangerous cross being swerved in there by John Barnes. Really does seem to have settled well. He's found Lawrenson with the short corner. That's back for McMahon. It hit Peter Jackson. This is Nicol. And Gillespie has stayed forward in the area, but it was Beardsley who couldn't kill that. And there goes Mirandini with Hansen. Whelan just came off Stevenson to Aldridge. Roeder, Anderson. McCreary, Roeder, but Nicol in the way. Then Gillespie. Kenny Wharton against the referee. It's twice Keith Hackett's got into the game. Here's Barnes. Aldridge in a good position inside, Nicol outside, also well placed. And Aldridge has pulled away now, Barnes. Sure, those of you at home have noticed just how comfortably Barnes in particular and Aldridge seem to have settled into this Liverpool lineup. Here's Wharton for Newcastle. Neil MacDonald. The ball isn't coming in early as yet for Newcastle. But they may have an opportunity now to swing one in. It's a free kick for the foul on Stevenson. So, a chance for Roeder and Jackson to go forward. MacDonald to take it. Gillespie, Barnes, MacDonald. They're still in there. And Venison this time, McCreary. And Roeder is still forward, but Lawrenson looks so assured, even though he's been out of first-team football for so long, with a bad Achilles injury. This is Barry Venison. McMahon's made a terrific run from the middle of the field, but goalkeeper came out. Hansen with Goddard, then Wharton. Gillespie and Mirandini. They do look a bit nervous at the back there, as Malcolm was saying earlier, Newcastle. But here's Mirandini, and here's Hansen. It's running away a bit, but offside, Nicol.
Newcastle are trying to play it similarly to Liverpool, short of feet, but then all of a sudden, when they see nothing on, they're just knocking long, hopeful balls up front, and they're really giving Goddard and Mirandini no chance at all, and they're playing it down the throats of the two big centre-halves, and it's making it very, very easy to Liverpool. And in actual fact, what Liverpool are doing, they're bouncing back all the time off the bad play of Newcastle.
15 minutes to go in the first half at St James's Park. This Barclays League Division 1 match. Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1. The scorer Steve Nicol. Here's McMahon for Liverpool. Nicol's making a lot of runs ahead of the strikers. This is Aldridge, he's got Nicol in again. Little shove by Peter Jackson possibly, but the referee saw nothing amiss. And in fairness, Steve Nicol didn't appeal. Gillespie. Now it's Wharton. McDonald on the far side. Open cross, and GROBBELAAR comes to collect that and looks very much in charge of that 18-yard area so far. Offside, Aldridge. Now Mirandinha with Gillespie at his heels. Oh. And he's found Anderson, but Hansen stepped in. That was clever and subtle and appreciated. Famous old building there in the background. That's the University Hall of Residence on Leazes Terrace. Great tradition around this club, but you have to remind yourself it's 60 years since Newcastle won the First Division Championship. They've had many heroes since then, but very few trophies. Liverpool, on the other hand, tend to specialise in trophies rather than in heroes. Anderson. Hodges. Oh, nice little ball in, but Goddard could only flick it on to Hansen. And David McCreary picks that one up. Mirandinha in the middle. But the covering at the back for Liverpool is very sound. Roda, Goddard, Anderson. Newcastle did lose their first 3 home matches of last season. And having lost the first 2 this time round, they're trailing again here. It can't be good for confidence. And a firework explodes in the far corner of the ground as John Barnes tries to produce some fireworks on the pitch. He can't do it there. McDonald. Kenny Wharton, Glenn Roder joining the attack. Steve Nicol slipped there, so they've found Hodges. Newcastle have committed a lot of players forward. Hodges won it back as McMahon lost his boot. Mirandinha still shot hit Nicol. Roda. Mirandinha. Oh, he's found some room here, the Brazilian, and he topped his shot completely. It was almost a pass by mistake to Goddard in the end. Need much to get them going up here, and the sight of Mirandinha getting into some useful space there got them very excited. This is Beardsley, who used to get them excited up here. Nicol. It's Beardsley again, and Barnes is on the far side, and so too is Whelan here. Barnes. He's the primary threat on that flank. Just under 10 minutes left in the first half. Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1. Here's Aldridge, Peter Jackson's header. Beardsley, Barnes. Play on to well-placed Keith Hackett. And forward by Jackson. Only to Lawrenson, and that made that look easy. Whelan. And again they've got Nicol in up front of the strikers, and he was onside, and Gary Kelly had to make 2 decent saves. Steve Nicol there found acres of room. They obviously must have thought he was offside, Newcastle. Nobody went with him at all. And the goalkeeper saved them with a twisting turn and save. Barnes. Aldridge. Foul on the jump, surely. I wouldn't have thought that would count, no. The goal is not given for John Aldridge. But all sorts of excitement there at the Newcastle end, and the defence have not got themselves organised. Mirandinha, Stevenson, Goddard. Mirandinha again, Anderson. That was a nice touch by John Aldridge, but not such a good pass from Steve McMahon. Anderson trying to find Goddard. Gillespie was in, now Venison. Aldridge thought for a split second there that he kept up his record of scoring in every game. Here's Mark Lawrenson, but there's no doubt which side are running the match at the moment. Beardsley, Nicol. Lawrenson has now found room in the Newcastle penalty area. This is Venison. And here's Barnes. And Aldridge this time, 2-0. 38 minutes gone. Liverpool make it look so easy, and John Aldridge keeps a record going of which Ian Rush would be proud. This is the 8th time he started a league match for Liverpool, Aldridge, and he's scored in all 8. He's made it 2-0 here. It's 6 in 6 for him this season, and where do Newcastle go from here, Malcolm?
Well, firstly, they've got to stop giving these silly goals away where they're allowing Liverpool players in their 2s and 3s to get beyond the fullbacks for crosses.
There goes Beardsley, and that was nearly number 3, as you were saying.
It was indeed. Wherever Liverpool have the ball when they're wide, whether it be deep or in forward positions, players on the other side of the field are looking to make their runs behind fullbacks, and Newcastle really are in total 6s and 7s at the back, and if you can't sort it out from there, you're going to struggle in your play generally. And they're having little fits and starts, but not really punishing Liverpool at all. And Liverpool, of course, are so great at soaking up the pressure, taking the sting out of the situation, and then regaining control once again of the game, as they have done now.
Yes, people will be spotting that Barnes and Aldridge have been very evident, and Beardsley too, who's on the left at the moment as Barnes tries to go through. He finds Whelan, and Gary Kelly is not getting very much protection just now. Kenny Wharton's made the forward run, away from Hansen for a moment. Into Goddard, no, Gillespie. Well, the run was okay there, but the delivery wasn't. And don't they make the game look easy, Liverpool? Venison now. Nicol again is to his right in a lot of room, but he's offside. John Anderson got sucked in again. And with 5 minutes to play in the first half, Newcastle looking bemused, and Liverpool looking every inch the side we know them to be. Venison, and now a long run by Ronnie Whelan. Took 2 to stop him. And there's a little bit of unrest among the Newcastle supporters, not surprisingly. can hear some barracking going on among the spectators around me. There goes John Barnes, and he's onside, Barnes, and right through, and Aldridge again! Good stop by Anderson. Well, it could have been embarrassing, this. It could have been 4 or 5. Anderson was virtually on the line when he stopped it. Lawrenson. Offside. Well, Newcastle were carved open again. Just see how much space Liverpool are creating. That's Barnes, that's Aldridge, that's Anderson. Well, we would have to draw the conclusion from this first half that the money that Liverpool got for Ian Rush has been wisely spent. Peter Beardsley is the most expensive purchase at 1.9 million, indeed a record between British clubs. But we've seen enough of Aldridge and Barnes in this first half to know there's quality there as well. And Mirandinha hasn't had very much chance to show what he can do. This is Hansen. It's a good-looking ball for Whelan. And McDonald was stretched a bit there. Anderson. Hodges. Aldridge. Oh, that's a good turn that was against Glenn Roeder. There are a few people who have been surprised by some of Aldridge's touches since he's joined Liverpool. He isn't just an out-and-out goal scorer, although that's his main forte. Mirandinha. Oh, and that's his. Good tackle by Hansen. But he was keen to regain it. Here's Lawrenson. Whelan, offside Barnes. It's a great compliment to the Liverpool way of playing and to the simplicity, which is the bedrock of their style, that new players can fit in so quickly. Stevenson. Especially when one or two of those players have always perhaps been known as individualists in the past, but fitting into the Liverpool team pattern would appear to be no problem. And Kenny Dalglish's team will be quite satisfied with what they've achieved in the first half here. Here's Barnes. Aldridge left and Nicol on the right. He seems to be playing in a field of his own. Still Nicol, and he's floated one beautifully. No, a player offside in the 6-yard box means that goal will not stand. What a pity for Steve Nicol. It was a lovely chip, but there was Kenny Dalglish not happy. But I think you'll find there was a player. It may have been Beardsley or possibly Aldridge. I rather think Beardsley in the 6-yard area, and I suppose they've decided, the linesman and referee, that he was interfering with play, blocking the goalkeeper's line of vision, and that, I would imagine, is why the goal has not stood. But Steve Nicol executed the perfect chip. Here he is again. Stoppage time at the end of the first half. And it's been a quite traumatic 45 minutes for Newcastle and for their supporters. And a thoroughly satisfactory one from the Liverpool point of view. And there are some there's Steve Nicol, but let's just see again what happened as John Barnes brought that ball away from Stevenson. Now look where Anderson is. He's had to go in, and you'll see that Nicol has almost got a pitch of his own out here. He then turns back very nicely. Watch the player in the middle. And there was, when the chip actually was delivered, the first player, Aldridge, in my view, was in an offside position. Although Beardsley came into the picture later, it looked like Aldridge to me who was flagged, and that was why the score remained 2-0. And which are in fact housed in porter cabins while this ground redevelopment goes on at St James's. At the Leazes end there, you can see the temporary seating, almost like the 18th hole at the Open Golf up there, isn't it? In the short term, anyway. And then as you come round to the near side, from which we're broadcasting this afternoon, the famous old stand, built in about 1910, has gone. There's the building site, and the £4 million new structure is going to go shooting up there, they hope, in the next 2 or 3 months. And in fact, the completion date is scheduled for as early as January, when the stand will then look across to that other main grandstand on the far side, and the ground will look spick and span again. But the club have done very well in the meantime, rehousing season ticket holders and so on. What their team need to do now is to produce something on the field to turn round this rather demoralising half-time position for Newcastle United. All sorts of talking points from a Liverpool point of view in the first half, and I suppose one of them is that Steve Nicol could quite easily have had a hat-trick. One disallowed and one saved by the goalkeeper, and having quite an inspired spell after missing so much of last season with injury, Steve Nicol. About to take the throw. Here's Peter Beardsley. Nicol again. McMahon's in there. So too is Stevenson. McDonald forward. Lawrenson. And now McMahon, and there's space again in front of the Newcastle back four here. Nicol, Venison, and Whelan. Venison again. Barnes. And again Nicol. Liverpool's passing so assured. Beardsley. McCreary gets a foot in, much needed. Hodges. Gillespie came to beat Goddard. Quickly taken free kick. Nicol once again. Header out by McDonald. Oh, not very far though. It's Ronnie Whelan going through. Hodges. Anderson. I saw Liverpool win impressively at Coventry. I also saw them beat Arsenal on the season's opening day, and they appear to be onside. Beardsley. Nicol's in the centre, completely unmarked as yet. There he is again. 3-0. The 3rd minute of the second half, and the game goes even further beyond Newcastle, and their old hero Peter Beardsley stabs them through the heart here, finding so much room on the left wing, and Steve Nicol, the man who can do no wrong it would seem, finishes off again to make it Newcastle United 0, Liverpool 3. And what I was saying about Liverpool's away form is that they're turning these matches into home games. Largely they've had to, because they haven't played many at Anfield in view of their problems there with the ground, but they're just taking the match to the opposition, and it's coming off with a vengeance certainly today. And Kenny Dalglish was off the bench, angry about the challenge by Neil MacDonald, who I think will be booked here. The yellow card is back, by the way, for those of you who haven't seen much Barclays League football this season. Referees have been instructed to use the cards again, keeping us in line with the European game and the World game. Lawrenson. something on here for Newcastle. No, there isn't. Well, the amount of space that Liverpool have been getting on the flanks is something you don't often see in First Division football. They've ripped Newcastle apart behind the full-back positions. This was the case of Beardsley just operating in yards of room and Nicol finishing off at the far post. There are chants coming from the Newcastle sections of the crowd aimed against the board of directors and possibly the manager. Seems a little harsh because obviously it's the players on the field who are being destroyed here. There goes Aldridge from McMahon. And Peter Jackson able to clear, but John Aldridge very nearly plundering number 4. The Liverpool supporters, who are in the bottom left-hand corner there, are having a wonderful afternoon. Corner to Liverpool. Here's Lawrence. McMahon. And Lawrenson's in here. Blocked by Kenny Wharton. Lawrenson trying to steer it into the far corner. And a foul. Alan Hansen tangling with Mirandinia. And the free kick given his way. Barnes. There. Well, often to make a point about a football match, people say, well, it was 3-0 and it could have been 8 or 9. In actual fact, that's a fact here this afternoon. It could easily have been that many. So many openings have Liverpool created. McCreary. Whelan won it, and now it's Nicol again. Aldridge waiting in the centre. Almost a relief for Newcastle when the ball finishes in the goalkeeper's arms, because Liverpool aren't long in winning it back. Barnes. For Newcastle. Stevenson. MacDonald. Goddard coming short. Stevenson. Here's the captain, Roda. Goddard again, play on, says the referee. It was Hansen's challenge. Now Barnes, and just look, Aldridge has gone through again on this side, wondering why he didn't get it, but it went instead to Beardsley. And here's Nicol, and they're through again, Liverpool, with players to spare. Beardsley. Foul on the goalkeeper. But Malcolm, a point Bob Wilson made to Bobby Robson, without Ian Rush, there seems to be even more variety to Liverpool's play.
There certainly does, and on that last goal, the thing that I noticed was it really is a team against 11 individuals, because as the ball was about to be played through, there were 4 Liverpool players all making forward runs, and Newcastle was stood still and just watching.
Here's Goddard. But there's also been a lot of good interceptions by Liverpool in midfield, setting up attacks like this with Barnes. deflection off David McCreary. But Barnes, but for McCreary, might there have gone on and scored a spectacular goal. There's Gillespie. McMahon making his usual run from midfield. McCreary blocked the pass. Now Hodges. Goddard through the centre for Newcastle. This is more promising for them, but how quickly the space was closed by the elegant Mark Lawrenson. By McDonald to Wharton, but once again it's Whelan who intercepts. Nicol to Aldridge, Jackson to Anderson. Hodges. Goddard's in there. Here comes Stevenson. And they've got 5 in there waiting for a cross, which comes from McDonald. And here's a chance for Goddard, perhaps. Against Hansen. Just over 10 minutes gone in the second half, and if anybody has joined match of the day really late, you've missed something of an exhibition from Liverpool, who lead 3-0 and would not have been flattered had the score been double that. This is Venison, and there goes Gillespie on a long run. McCreary's challenge. Steve Nicol has scored 2 of the goals, and John Aldridge the other. And Gary Gillespie is the player who is injured. Referee doesn't seem to want to have the trainer on here, so Gillespie stays down. Liverpool have possession. He's back on his feet at the moment, but hobbling. Here's Hansen. Beardsley. Nicol, Barnes, Beardsley, Nicol again. Well, Malcolm, a midfield player finding goal-scoring positions one after another, Steve Nicol.
They certainly are. The Newcastle midfield just aren't picking up the midfield runs from Liverpool at all, and the Newcastle defence is just becoming totally overburdened.
They're making a change now. Darren Jackson is going to come on to replace Glyn Hodges. Meantime, the treatment continues for Gary Gillespie. Supporters somewhat bewildered by their expression as to what's happened here this afternoon. They came full of expectation, as they so often have in the past, the Newcastle followers. And as I'm sure they would admit down there on the bench, they've come off second best up to now, and that's an understatement. However, they've made a change. They've got Darren Jackson on the left side of the attack. Here he is. And he wins a free kick at once against Ronnie Whelan, who then followed through on another Newcastle player, which has caused a few complaints. Looks as though that's the second challenge that they're really moaning about. It was Darren Jackson first of all who went down, but then look at the tackle on Kenny Wharton. Derek Wright, the Newcastle physiotherapist, applying the treatment there. That's Nigel Spackman just doing the stretches. Anderson. Here's Nicol again. Exchanging passes with McMahon, and now Whelan. Well, Liverpool have certainly collared the game in midfield. Good header, John Aldridge, but John Barnes unable to reach that. And there's one casualty of the afternoon. But without being disrespectful to him or to them, there are at the moment 11 casualties in black and white stripes of this superlative Liverpool display. Newcastle not the first team to wonder exactly how you deal with Liverpool in this mood. There's Darren Jackson. Now Mirandinha, he's away. And Gillespie's trying to get to him, and penalty. Gillespie on Mirandinha. A rare defensive error by Liverpool let him in the first place. Gillespie seemed to catch up with him. Mirandinha went down. You might have your own views at home, but Keith Hackett had no doubt whatever. He pointed straight to the spot. And Mirandinha may have got something here for Newcastle. Gillespie was the offender, and the opposite number 2, Neil MacDonald, is the penalty taker. GROBBELAAR not on his line at present because he's saying the ball isn't quite on the spot. Here's MacDonald. Put away well. 3-1 and hope for Newcastle. Just what they wanted. Some sort of encouragement, and it's been provided really for the fans by the Brazilian. He found a way through, and that challenge on him has perhaps given his team a lifeline. .61 minutes and 3-1. Now, how do Liverpool respond to that? That was a bad ball by Darren Jackson, picked up by Barnes. Here's Whelan. Beardsley. Free kick. Handball given. Barnes is standing to the right, and that's his floater. Oof. Well, hope here for Newcastle, Malcolm?
Faint at the moment. If they're really going to get back into this game, they're going to need another goal very, very quickly. I think there was definite holding there on Mirandinha, and I think a fair result was had.
Goddard, what can he create here for Stevenson? A chance for Stevenson. Oh, he lost his composure, the youngster. Very easy to say that from up here. Mirandinha actually was waiting in the middle here, as you'll see from the replay, or rather, Stevenson didn't see, and blazed wide. Never mind, from a Newcastle point of view, the morale has been lifted. And the game all the more interesting for that from the neutrals' point of view. McCreary robs Beardsley. Mirandinha. Suddenly, every Newcastle player appears to be about a foot taller. They've gleaned some sort of inspiration from that goal. But can they stop Aldridge? Rhoda can. And Mirandinha won that personal battle. He's got Goddard and Wharton on the inside. Corner. Hodges off the pitch, MacDonald will take it, and that could make it an outswinger. Roda's in there, and so is Jackson. That's Peter Jackson who couldn't reach it, and Alan Hansen will. He's got some room on that side. Beards is making a long run nearer to us. Goddard. Wharton. Neil MacDonald. Stevenson. Hansen. Barnes. And it's clear too that Liverpool are not having things anything like their own way as much as they were. "20 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 3, and Aldridge releasing Nicol on the far side. Beardsley in the middle. It's still Nicol. He's gone all the way, and that is the hat-trick. What a tremendous personal performance by the Liverpool number 4, the Scottish international. Well, he scored the winner at Arsenal on the opening day of the season. He got 2 at Coventry, and now he scores 3 at Newcastle. And makes it 4-1 in the 66th minute. Well, Malcolm McDonald got a hat-trick in that game I referred back to in 1971. It's a Liverpool player that gets 3 here today in the corresponding fixture. And hasn't he taken them well, Mal?
He certainly has, and that last one really was a beautifully taken goal. Superb little chip, and just the thing for an on-rushing goalkeeper to be well beaten by.
And again, a terrific amount of room that Liverpool found on the flank, on the left-back side of the field. But it's room that Nicol has exploited quite ruthlessly. So Newcastle's mini revival may have been nipped in the bud. Andy Roxburgh, the Scotland manager, is here today, and he'll be thrilled to see Steve Nicol playing like this, because he is very much part of Scotland's plans just at the moment. Lawrenson takes the free kick. Kenny Wharton. Jimmy Hill made the point at the very start of the afternoon that all the attention had been on Mirandinia, Beardsley and Barnes, but would some lesser star, not lesser star really, but lesser name, steal the show? Here's Mirandinia. Clean tackle by Hansen, but he's kept possession. Barnes this time. Wharton. And Mirandinia, surely! Goddard, no! Body's in the way. Anderson. McCreary. Darren Jackson. MacDonald. Well, chances there for 4-2, no question, but Liverpool got defenders back, and they blocked the efforts of Mirandinia and then Goddard. Just continuing where I left off, if Steve Nicol wasn't quite classed as a star before this afternoon, he's certainly one now. Not a bad occasion on which to score a hat-trick from midfield. Lawrenson to Barnes. Stevenson. MacDonald. Oh, in the way there was Whelan. This is Beardsley. Aldridge making a run to his right. So too is Nicol inevitably. Wharton for Newcastle. Darren Jackson. Tackled by Venison. And then Darren Jackson Jackson, in winning it back, has been penalised. Liverpool are preparing to make a substitution. They've got Nigel Spackman ready. And Gary Gillespie is the player coming off. He took a knock earlier on and was hobbling for a while. And perhaps wasn't at full throttle when he collided with Mirandinha in that penalty incident. Anyway, that's history now. Spackman is on. And I'll just give you an update on the formation when it settles down. He's gone into the back four for the moment anyway. Anderson. Spackman, the former Chelsea player, signed last season, wearing number 14. And he appears to have taken over the central defensive position that Gillespie has vacated. 20 minutes to go then here at St James's Park. Liverpool 4-1 up, have Whelan in possession. Offside this time against Nicol. Glenn Roeder. John Anderson down to Goddard. There is Spackman challenging with Venison. And Hansen meets it. Oh, mistake by Peter Jackson, and Aldridge trying to get there ahead of MacDonald, who got a foot in well. Mirandinha. And then he went to Spackman. In fact, Mirandinha, having not played against Liverpool before, must at times feel that they've got more than 11 men on the pitch. So often is the red shirt the man over. Aldridge. Goddard, pulled back really there by McMahon. There has to be a free kick. McCreary wants to take it quickly, Stevenson, but they haven't gained any ground doing it that way. Here's MacDonald. McCreary. Anderson, Wharton, Roeder. Got everybody forward here, Newcastle, including MacDonald again.
Liverpool, I think, are just taking the sting out of the game at the moment, and they're just building up now, ready for one last burst in the game to really make it. I think they're going for 5, and they're just soaking up the pressure. They're sucking Newcastle into their back 4, and any minute now they're going to suddenly spring back.
Here's Ronnie Whelan. To Beardsley. Lawrenson's had a very assured return to league football here, having just played as a substitute on Tuesday night against Charlton. A bit of scuffling going on there between McMahon and McCreary, two of the game's more competitive people. Barnes. Offside. And in saying that Newcastle are without Gascoigne, which is a reasonable point to make from their angle in midfield, you have to also say that the Liverpool team doesn't include the likes of Craig Johnston or Jan Molby. Forward by Wharton. It's McCreary. Now it's McDonald. Verendinha. Now Barnes. And again. Again, very methodical, the build-up. Again, it's Nicol on the end of it. Barnes. Free kick. Quickly taken. Whelan. Now, just under 15 minutes to go, and Newcastle have a break. It's Darren Jackson with Mirandinha in the centre, and Goddard going outside him. Stevenson is this way if he can see him. Goddard gets up. And Barnes has put that through, and again there was no flag. The pass was overhit this time, but Liverpool have often got a man through. Here's Mirandinha. Free kick given against Mirandinha going on for some shooting practice, but the player's been pulled back.
Might be 30 yards out, John.
Now,
Mirandinha will have a crack here, I'm telling you.
Yes, it's got all the expectations going now. It was deflected, but here's Darren Jackson. They're appealing there, and it comes to nothing. Quite right what Malcolm was saying. At Manchester United last week, Mirandinha took a hopeful free kick like that, and it deflected off Paul McGrath, I think it was, for a goal. So he's always going to try from that distance, as most Brazilians love to do. Roda now. Anderson. Beardsley trying to shake off Roda and then tangling with Darren Jackson. Victory here for Liverpool would send them up to third place in the First Division, which is ominous when you consider they would still have 2 games in hand of the clubs above them, Queen's Park Rangers and Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Venison. And those home games still to come, of course, for Liverpool, which had to be put off and delayed. And Steve Nicol has gone down. Play goes on. Wharton, Stevenson. Mirandinha bringing Lawrenson with him this time, and that's going to be quite an interesting contest. And Mirandinha appears to have won it. And he's gone to the line, and Hansen slid in, but he had some pace to show there against defenders who are not slouches by any means. McDonald to take the corner. Mirandinha's in there again. Stevenson. Roda's there also, and Grobbelaar comes to claim this. Oh, a mistake by Nicol finds Goddard. Jackson, Roda. Anderson. Hasn't been the penetration or the imagination around the 18-yard box from Newcastle that we've seen from Liverpool. That's possibly been one of the big differences. Here's Lawrenson. Barnes. Beardsley's made the run. Wharton. Roeder. Peter Jackson. Neil McDonald. And they've got four players well forward here. Mirandinha. Spackman got a foot in. Here's Beardsley. McMahon's made a run through the centre. He's spun off to the right now to stay onside. Beardsley rather hopeful of going through the crowd, and with 10 minutes to go, Peter Jackson brings the ball away for Newcastle, who are 4-1 down, remember. Here's Stevenson. Kenny Wharton. Stevenson again. Corner off Lawrenson. Roeder and Jackson are there. There's a good header by Alan Hansen there. Cleared the area. David McCreary. McDonald. Mirandinha. Hansen again. Header by Nicol. Then by Peter Jackson. And there's Mirandinha again, and this time he's been penalised.
Really has been an excellent performance, hasn't it, all round by Liverpool. It's been interesting to see how they've coped with the pace of Mirandinha. And I did notice just a minute ago that Lawrenson, one of the quickest in the land, was shown clean heels by Mirandinha. It really does show how remarkably quick the fella is.
Aldridge going in there on young Gary Kelly, who was quick to come out of the area. Yes, there's been a lively pace to this game throughout, and that clattering tackle by McCreary on McMahon has caused another eyeball-to-eyeball expression from them. Here's Beardsley. Aldridge waiting in the centre. This is Lawrenson. Beardsley. Peter Jackson, cushion header there to McDonald. And Mirandinha turning against Spackman, who's done a decent job, having come on for Gillespie at centre-half. France. Donald. Hansen shaking off Mirandinha. Finding Lawrenson. Aldridge. Barnes. There must be 7 passes strung together there by Liverpool, taking the play from one side of the pitch right to the other touchline. There goes Venison for the return from Nicol. What a great move that was. Chipped through by McDonald to Wharton. Goddard waiting in the centre. Mirandinha has come short here. And again, had that gone out? Well, fans at the Gallagher end thought it had, but linesman said no. his way through, and Peter Jackson falling in front of him. Darren Jackson picked off very easily by Hansen. Now Nicol, there's a man on here we didn't see. John Anderson. That's too long for Stevenson.
Really, it has been quite a dismal display by Newcastle, and Liverpool have taught them so many lessons today. The simple passing of the game. Newcastle on so many occasions have ignored the good ball, the better ball, the easy ball to play, and have just pumped it forward to two lads who really need it to feet, as Jimmy was saying at half-time. They pumped it forward in the air and made it very, very easy for Liverpool.
Here's Mirandinha, though. Good tackle by Lawrenson. And really, there's a style about Lawrenson and Hansen in possession, or indeed even in the tackle, Malcolm, where they just seem to always have the extra yard.
They're good footballers who are great defenders, and they've got a super understanding. I felt last season that they were starting to get at odds with each other, but they've certainly sorted out in the closed season.
Yes, in many ways Liverpool have unveiled a new team this year, and the early signs are that once again they're the standard by which others will be measured, and that's Spackman. Under 5 minutes to go now here at St James's Park. Comprehensive victory for Liverpool. 4-1 is the score at the moment. Steve Nicol has got 3 of them, and John Aldridge scored the other. Here's Barnes. Oh, good effort and a good save by Gary Kelly from John Barnes. Venison. Play there. Goddard. And fed through for Mirandinha. He's got past Lawrenson this time. Wharton's in the centre, so is Goddard. And Mirandinha tricks Spackman and can't beat Lawrenson. Sprightly skill from the Brazilian there. It was a good ball that found him from Kenny Wharton initially. Corner then. Peter Jackson arriving, and GROBBELAAR able to catch that, as he's caught most things this afternoon. 3 minutes to go. Steve Nicol, with 3 goals to his name, finds John Barnes. I think the Newcastle supporters may want the match to end as soon as possible. And Mirandinha is injured and looks a little crestfallen as he goes to receive attention behind the goal from Derek Wright.
The greatness of Liverpool has really been displayed this afternoon, in as much that they've played the game at whatever pace they've wanted, and Newcastle haven't been able to do anything about it at all. They've sped it up, they've slowed it down, and they really have really shown what a great side has been built up at Anfield over the past 20 years. And the problem for the opposition always is, of course, it makes you look a hell of a lot worse than you really are.
Yeah, that's a nice point. Many other clubs have found themselves on the receiving end like Newcastle are today. Coventry only 2 or 3 weeks ago, in fact, lost at home 4-1 to Liverpool, and John Sillett said, why do they have to do it here? Well, they've now come and done it somewhere else. Here's Kenny Wharton. Stevenson. Here's Steve McMahon, and look at that space. Darren Jackson's got some ground to make up there on Steve Nicol. Well, he beat himself. All the signs were there again of a goal-scoring opportunity coming from a break down the right-hand side. We are, in fact, in the last minute of the match. Mirandini back in the thick of the action there. Swung wide by Darren Jackson to MacDonald. Early ball in, and again it's straight into the hands of GROBBELAAR. Saw the Blackburn manager Don Mackay before the kick-off. His team play Liverpool in the Littlewoods Cup on Wednesday. Just wonder what his conclusions are. How do you plan your tactics against a team in this imperious mood? He should worry, only has to play them in the Cup. Peter Jackson's header down to Barnes. Time perhaps for one more Liverpool attempt. Barnes finds Beardsley. Aldridge makes the run across. Oh, it nearly went straight in. Aldridge took the attention of Glenn Roeder, but fortunately for Newcastle, not that of Gary Kelly, who kept his eye on the ball. Otherwise, Beardsley's effort would have curled in, perhaps. Here's McMahon. Whelan.
Come on!
Barnes. And again. Venison gets the free kick. Well into stoppage time now here at St James's. There were a couple of injuries which mean that Keith Hackett has added on a minute or two. Here's McMahon. Spackman. Whelan. And there it is. The home fans disappointed. 3 successive defeats here for Newcastle United. But for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol in particular, with a hat-trick, another fine performance and another result which will make the rest of the First Division sit up and take notice. They've now got a record of 5 wins and a draw in their 6 league matches so far, Liverpool. They're in 3rd place. John Aldridge got the other goal. They have 2 games in hand of the teams above them, Queen's Park Rangers and Tottenham, and they're being applauded off very generously by Newcastle supporters as well as Liverpool fans, because that really was a championship-type display, albeit so early in the season. And again, one has to ask the question, who is going to beat Liverpool? Let's hear from the man who scored 3 goals today, Steve Nicol, who's with Bob Wilson.
Steve, only 6 league games gone, and yet your name appears with 6 goals. What's going on here?
Well, I think that's all down to my teammates and all. I'm getting in the right place and they're putting it through, so as long as I keep it going, I'll be quite happy.
I think when Ian Rush was here, everybody expected Liverpool to play in a certain way. It does appear now that there are more options open to players like yourself.
Well, everybody's trying to do a wee bit as well as stick in with the team, so I mean, at the moment we've only had 6 games, I think, and I say it's early days yet.
Congratulations, thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers, thanks.
Well, it is early days, and those of you who may not have seen the whole of that game, here's a chance to look at the highlights of the overwhelming victory of Liverpool over Newcastle.
It might have been all right for Wyn Davis, that sort of ball, but not for Mirandini, really. Here's Barnes. Number 7, Beardsley. And there goes Barnes again. Danger here. Aldridge far post. John Anderson and Steve Nicol. What a simple goal for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol puts it away with some aplomb. It's his 4th of the season, in fact, and Newcastle got themselves in a right mess. And Peter Beardsley, against his old club, makes the running here. He finds another of the new players, Barnes. That was really meant for Aldridge. John Anderson's was the mistake. Steve Nichol's was the side foot shot, and the lead belongs to Liverpool. Nicol Lawrenson has now found room in the Newcastle penalty area. This is Venison. And here's Barnes. And Aldridge this time, 2-0. 38 minutes gone. Liverpool make it look so easy, and John Aldridge keeps a record going of which Ian Rush would be proud. This is the 8th time he started a league match for Liverpool, Aldridge, and he's scored in all 8. Well, I saw Liverpool win impressively at Coventry. I also saw them beat Arsenal on the season's opening day. Onside, Beardsley. Nichols in the centre, completely unmarked as yet. There he is again, 3-0. The 3rd minute of the second half, and the game goes even further beyond Newcastle, and their old hero, Peter Beardsley, stabs them through the heart here, finding so much room on the left wing, and Steve Nicol, the man who can do no wrong it would seem, finishes off again to make it Newcastle United 0, Liverpool 3. Now Mirandinia, he's away, and Gillespie's trying to get to him, and penalty. Gillespie on Mirandinia. A rare defensive error by Liverpool let him in the first place. Gillespie seemed to catch up with him. Mirandinia went down. You might have your own views at home, but Keith Hackett had no doubt whatever. He pointed straight to the spot. Here's McDonald. Put away well. 3-1 and hope for Newcastle. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 3. And Aldridge releasing Nicol on the far side. Beardsley in the middle. It's still Nicol. He's gone all the way. And that is the hat-trick. What a tremendous personal performance by the Liverpool number 4, the Scottish international. Well, he scored the winner at Arsenal on the opening day of the season. He got 2 at Coventry, and now he scores 3 at Newcastle. Here's Mirandinia. Clean tackle by Hansen, but he's kept possession. Barnes this time. Wharton, and Mirandinia, surely, Goddard, no, body's in the way. Well, chances there for 4-2, no question, but Liverpool got defenders back, and they blocked the efforts of Mirandinia and then Goddard.